well, almost a full room. Welcome, everyone. All right, we'll go ahead and move to agenda approval. Are there any changes to the agenda? No changes to the agenda. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
So moved by Schmidt, second by Hennan, to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Please check some future events. Please check the district website for a complete list of monthly events. Friday, April 18, 2025, no school for students, staff professional workday. Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, regular school board meeting at 7 p.m. with communications to the board and administration at 6:45. Moving on to consent agenda. Can I get a motion? So moved by Forsberg. Second by McClellan. To approve the following items of the consent agenda. Minutes of the March 4th, 2025 regular meeting and the March 25th, 2025 work session. Bills paid for February 2025 in the following amount of $5,162,674 and personnel items. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to discussion reports and information items. Communications and connections. Complete a technical upgrade of the website to include new functionality and enhance the user experience overall. District operational plan, project update, upgrade SOP schools website, Ms. Erica Title.
Hello,
Welcome.
good evening. Happy to be here tonight to give you a brief update on our district operational plan project this year around upgrading all of the websites associated with Spring Lake Park schools. My piece of trivia tonight is that I've asked groups as we've been going through, how many websites do you think we have? Well, we have 13 websites and they're all going to be upgraded here in the month of April. So this project, before I give you a little update, just want to bring you along a little bit on why this ended up on the district operational plan for this year. The current website was launched in the fall of 2018, which is a lot of years in technology land. And while the site continues to get pretty good marks for usability and design and content, we really want to upgrade that technical experience and just improve the experience for all of our users. So you can see that we've focused on a couple of areas with the project across platforms, so mobile as well as all the websites on desktop. We want to enhance all of that. Organization of content, streamlining of content, optimizing for search, which we know has been a pain point, and also just creating that platform for communications and marketing going forward. So we have followed our 3D design process throughout all of our work. The discover phase, which is the last time we spoke to the board at a regular meeting was in October. We were right in the middle of our discovery work. So we did look into our own websites. We did a feedback survey with staff and families way back last spring, on the current experience. Then we did a really deep dive over the summer into our own data around search, traffic, time spent, just so we could have a really intentional approach in our planning. And then we did, with our Final Site, who's our partner in this work, we did an audit of the current site, and they helped us identify some opportunities and gaps. Then we did a look out at best practice, and again, Final Site hooked us up with some experts. We looked at a lot of different trends and really kind of focused in on our priorities. And then we looked around. We looked at more than 150 websites, locally, nationally, internationally. We identified things that we wanted to include in our own designs that were inspiring to us. And we also saw a lot of really not very good websites in the process. So it really helped us identify our must-haves and the things we wanted to avoid. And then we also looked at districts doing similar work to us, just to see if we could get some inspiration around that. So our top takeaways were, we were lucky to be working from a position of strength. We knew we wanted to maximize that technology experience. We knew we had opportunities to clean up some noise in the navigation and content. And we really wanted to address search. So for design, I'm going to give you an update in 3 areas. first of all, the site maps, right? That's how the site is organized. We did create a comprehensive site map for our current site, and we could see then how it had grown and maybe gotten a little out of control. And then we created site maps for all 13 areas. And when we tested sort of the primary district site using a card sort exercise, so we had staff, families, we had some students participate to help us make sure that we were organizing the content in ways that were most logical to users. That was really informative. Then we worked on visual design, so really the look and feel of the site. We documented those must-haves in Discovery, and then we pulled those in, so we wanted to make sure we didn't forget those things that we had found really useful. And then we worked through a design process, and we worked with a website designer on 3 different prototypes, and from there we landed with the new upgrade. And then we also updated the style guide, so colors, fonts, things like that. And then finally, content, so what the site communicates. We used a data-driven approach for this, looking at what pages were never visited or were just buried so far you didn't even know they were there. We touched every single page multiple times at this point, and we removed many and streamlined content in a lot of different areas. And we did that working in partnership with content owners in the organization and departments. So we're in the steps to delivery. We're almost there to the finish line. It's been a long process. So between October and April, a lot of the things I just talked about, we finalized those things. And just in the last few weeks, we've still been applying style to the new pages. We've collected a lot of different visual assets. I'm going to give you a sneak peek in a minute. We developed a new content strategy for all of our home pages, and we're in the final stages of putting all those pieces together. We've had a robust quality assurance process working with Final Site as well as our own teams in reviewing every page and making sure links are going to work and things like that. This week is exciting because we're doing our pre-launch communication. So we're letting staff and families know that this is coming. So there's no turning back. We're going to do it in April. And then we've hosted some preview sessions, especially with those folks who edit content on the websites, just so that they have a chance to see it before it goes live and get everyone a little excited. So our launch day is April 17th, so a week from Thursday. We don't have students on that Friday, so it's a long weekend for us, so that gives us an opportunity to address anything that might come up during the launch. I do want to highlight a few things related to that transition. We expect it will go pretty fast, but we also know it could take some time. It all depends. So just patience that day, knowing that content may be not accessible for a little bit as we're changing all the DNS and all the back end. So some things could be frustrating. And part of this is we are moving all of our school sites to subdomains. So that means all the URLs are going to break. So if you have anything bookmarked, you'll know that you'll want to update those. The content should still be there, but you'll want to update any bookmarks you have and know that that will be a problem. And then also just search is going to take a little bit of time to catch up with us. We'll submit our sitemaps to Google. We'll get those robots crawling out there so that we're findable as quickly as possible. But we anticipate that those are some experiences people might have. And then post-launch, we're going to work on optimizing on the back end for search engines so we're findable. We'll fix any broken links and missing content. We don't anticipate a lot of that. We've really done a lot of testing, but know that we'll be looking at that. And then we did save some content areas for post-launch, and that includes our staff intranet. So we'll be addressing that in the weeks and months to come. So what you'll see in Experience, I'm not going to give you a live demo tonight, but I just want to highlight a handful of things that I think will be enhancements to the experience and are things that we heard about. So a few screenshots. So we've really streamlined the menu and navigation. People have struggled with the flyout menus that we have today. We've really cleaned that up, so it should be easy to navigate, and the whole design is very clean. The second thing I want to highlight is every page will have a Find It Fast button in the top right. That's the search. And it'll have a traditional search bar, but as well as you'll see those icons and, pulling out those are our top pages that everyone goes to, and we know that. So we're trying to make that really easy to find, on any page you are on, whatever site you're on. And then popular pages, again, those are things we control because we can see on the back end where people are going and what they're searching for. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we'll update those popular pages. So I really want people to know that this will be a tool for them going forward. And then I just want to highlight the visuals of the site. There's this beautiful photography, and none of this is stock imagery. It's all from our schools, our experience. We have the most photogenic staff and students. So we're celebrating that and making sure that all of our sites are personalized to that school's experience or that program's experience. And then finally, because it was a big topic in the spring survey, we did get a lot of feedback and some pain points and friction with our athletics and activities site, that it's hard to navigate. I don't know where to go. I get confused between middle school and high school. So we're gonna try to ease some of that, and we've worked really hard to try to make that experience a little clearer for people. So I just wanna highlight that that is coming with the launch on the 17th. And I will say, I shout out to Will Wackman, who took that beautiful photograph of Panther Stadium. So there's more to come. That's just a little preview, so stay tuned. And on April 17th, if you have a chance, you'll be able to click through and take a look at everything. And of course, if you see something amiss, the easiest and most memorable way to let us know is communications@district16.org. We will be addressing everything as soon as possible, and we're really excited. And then I just want to end with a shout out to Jessica Johnson, who has expertly project managed all of us in getting this done. She has just become a platform guru for us and has made sure all of the T's are crossed and I's are dotted. And then Mackenzie Finley, who takes all of our photographs and does graphic design, social media for the district. It's really fun to see the photography bring our experience to life. And I'll take any questions.
All right, questions?
Sure.
Yeah. Not really a question, more of a comment. I, as a parent, am so excited about this because it's
Okay.
going to be a lot easier. I mean, I'm on the tail end of this whole thing, but still, I am really excited, and it's beautiful. What we got to preview was amazing. So good job.
Thanks.
Yes, we got to preview it. It's beautiful. Thank you for all of your work. I wanted to say, I think my favorite thing as well is that the pictures are all specific to the schools. I think it's just really unique, and that makes me super happy. My one question is for anybody who might be watching. You mentioned emailing you if you see anything or have any comments, but not everybody jots down emails. I
Sure.
did notice in your popular pages there was a contact us.
Absolutely.
So if people were to click that, they can send an email, or there's a form that pops up, or what happens then?
It's all those things.
Okay.
On the Contact Us page, there's a button where you can just submit your question or comment right there.
Okay,
Otherwise, you can reach us directly through that as well.
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you for all your work.
highlighting that.
Sam, did you?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I saw your mic on, so I just.
Oh,
Okay.
I think it looks amazing. I was part of the board when we did the last update to the website, so it's kind of cool to see it go through this evolution. Two questions. Content authors, is anything changing for them for the new website?
A few things are changing, but we're staying with the same provider. So the back end really looks very similar. It's just the design enhancements we've made. So yesterday and Thursday, we have preview sessions with all the content authors. But we are planning on doing a mini refresher training for them. And then we also have a website review process for all those folks so that we prompt them to review their pages they own every 6 months or whatever time frame makes sense for that content. So we will establish that after the launch as well, because we don't want anything to get old or stale, so.
And last question, is it mobile adaptable?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
That was, for every website, we did a desktop design as well as mobile.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Great. Yeah, that would be my one concern.
Yeah, it's a little
Just-
different, and I would actually say that the design is pretty mobile-first strategy, because we know
Okay.
most people are accessing the sites on mobile.
So staff and friends, if you're testing it out, use
Yeah.
both.
Yes, absolutely. We're
Awesome.
prepared for that.
Well, again, you and your team, phenomenal job on this from what we saw. Again, what, Melody shared. Yeah, it looks amazing. I'm really excited to see it roll out.
We're excited too, and send us some good vibes on the 17th.
Absolutely. Thanks, Erica. Moving to engaged, enthusiastic learners, align work of adults to continuously improve personalized instruction and responsiveness to meet our students' unique and varied needs. Summer programming overview, Dr. Hope Run.
Good evening, everyone. As you know, summers in Spring Lake Park schools are always happening, and this coming summer is no exception. So tonight, we just want to provide a bit of a sneak peek as to what will be happening this summer. And while I am the one presenting the information tonight, I want to be sure to give a shout out to Colleen Peterson, our Executive Director of Community Education and Extended Day Programs, as well as our entire community education team for leading the design and implementation of what you are about to see. So we will get started with Summer Counts, which is our kindergarten through grade 8 summer school program. This is a 4-week program that starts on July 7th. Students are invited to attend Summer Counts if they have not yet met their academic goals during the 9-month school year. So we want to continue the benefit of them continuing their learning and giving additional time over the summer to fill any gaps they may have in their learning, all in a way that helps them explore their current and future sparks. Invitations for Summer Counts will be going out this week, so families who are watching or who may watch this later can watch for those invitations and start the registration process. Last year, we had about 450 of our kindergarten through grade 8 students participate. This summer, we have 2 host sites for Summer Counts, and that is Park Terrace and Westwood. We wanted to be sure we chose sites that were not impacted by any summer facilities projects happening. And we also wanted to align our Summer Counts programming with our free summer meals programming sites. And more on summer meals coming up in just a little bit. Again, our K-8 Summer Counts program begins the week of July 7th, runs for 4 weeks, Mondays through Thursdays. Okay, we also have summer programming for our high school students, which is focused on continuing their learning specific to any of the academic competencies and/or credits they have not yet met. Last summer, again, just for reference, we had about 300 students participate in this. At the high school, this programming starts right away, the week of June 7th. So as soon as the school year closes, the learning keeps going the very next week. We are expecting this to be at the high school, and depending a little bit on the air handling project, did I get that right, Amy? Thank you. At the high school, which is also happening this summer, we might end up moving this to Westwood after the July 4th break, but that remains to be seen at this point. And our high school students and families will hear more about this programming coming up in May. All right, moving on to childcare. Registration for our summer childcare programming opened on March 1st, and we are actually nearing enrollment capacity for both our Learning Ventures childcare or our school-age childcare and Discovery Days for some of our younger students. Our Spring Lake Park Schools community ed youth programs and services are all about igniting sparks with our students, and this summer, our Learning Ventures students and staff will have a chance to explore and ignite new sparks. You can see the themes for the Learning Ventures programming this summer on the screen, from exploring nature to imaginative storytelling to STEM adventures, arts discovery, and more. In addition to these themes throughout the summer, students will also be able to challenge their minds and bodies to grow stronger with academic enrichment, outdoor games, on occasion, swimming at the high school pool, even though we're housed at Westwood this year, and walking trips and field trips to learn more about the opportunities in the broader Minneapolis and St. Paul area. While our Discovery Days programming will remain at the District Service Center, I guess I gave a spoiler alert, our Learning Ventures programming will be happening at Westwood this summer. This gives the students and staff in Learning Ventures new school spaces to explore, new parks within walking distance, which is really fun, and just new opportunities overall. Summer childcare programming will end the week of August 18th with what they are having, a celebration showcase and a carnival. So I will be excited to check that out and see what our kids did in Learning Ventures this summer. Okay, in addition to summer school and summer childcare, we also have about 50 enrichment programs that we're offering throughout the summer. Our athletic camps and clinics are made possible through a great partnership with our head coaches and high school sports teams, and these are wildly popular. Last summer, we had about 1,000 students participate in our athletic camps and clinics. The camps expose our youth to a wide variety of activities and sports and provide a chance for our younger kids to work side by side with older students and our high school coaching teams. It is completely a win-win. It gives our younger students exposure to the many sports and activities we offer in Spring Lake Park, and it also helps our high school athletes get some essential conditioning and practice in concurrently, right, as they're working with the younger kids. And beyond that, I think it's really cool because it provides a way for our high school students to even explore future careers that may involve working with younger kids. This will give them a chance to see if that's something they might be interested in. On top of our summer athletic camps and clinics, we also offer enrichment and Spark classes and camps. These are a great option for families who don't need full-time childcare, but are looking for some unique opportunities and some peer interactions for their kids over the summer. These offerings span all sorts of interest areas, including providing opportunities for some of our younger students to explore actually some of our career and college pathways programming in a low-key way, all the way down to kinder. Okay, so just as examples, in the area of technology, engineering, and design, our kindergarten through grade 4 students can be a junior zoo builder. They can explore some engineering concepts and skills as they're learning about the animals that way. Our 4th through 8th graders can build their own robot using 3D printing, explore woodworking, or explore video game coding. Okay? When we think about our health and human services pathway, we have this summer emergency outfitter classes that align really well with that. Students ages 7 through 10 can take a class that prepares them for staying safe both at and away from home. And students ages 10 to 13 can learn the essentials of caring for young children in a Babysitting 101 class, which taps some of our early OEC opportunities and our early teacher ed opportunities. In the area of business and entrepreneurship, the kids in the Babysitting 101 class also get a little taste of managing a babysitting business. So that's part of that class as well. Students in grades 2 through 6 can enroll in a Shark Tank Junior camp. So our high schoolers better watch out so the elementary Shark Tank projects don't, show them up maybe at the end of the summer. It'll be exciting to see that. I could also go on and on about the opportunities in the arts. For example, rock and roll band camp, which I might join, flip art with young Rembrandts. There's just more and more, but for the sake of time, I should probably not go through the entire listing with you. It gives you a taste. Okay, I mentioned this earlier. We have a free summer meal program. It's happened for multiple years, and it allows us to provide free summer meals for students ages 1 through 18. This includes both breakfast and lunch. Westwood Intermediate and Middle, you'll see there, will have meals available starting the week after school is out, going all the way through August 21st. Park Terrace will be an additional site for free meals for the majority of the month of July. Well, I don't have the exact times of breakfast and lunch quite yet, if it's 8 to 9 or 8:30 to 9, whatever that might be. Make sure you watch our website and school newsletters as we get closer to the end of the school year for additional information and details about our summer meals program. As you may have noticed, before I move on, Westwood will be busy this summer with K-8 summer school, extended school year programming, Learning Ventures childcare, and enrichment and Spark camps. What I love about that is that it gives our K-4 students some experience and familiarity with Westwood as they someday move there for grades 5 through 8. So I'm excited about that. Okay, finally, we will host Kinder Camp again toward the end of the summer, August 19th, 20th, and 21st at each of our K-4 elementary schools. Kinder Camp is a free, immersive kindergarten experience for all of our students who will start kindergarten in the fall of 2025. Kinder Camp is held in the morning on those 3 days, And students have a chance to get familiar with their school, their classrooms, their staff, and get a jump start on learning some of those career and life skills that set them up for a great start to their SLP experience. Registration is open, want to make sure everyone knows that. It's open for KinderCamp. And I get the benefit of hearing from parents quite a bit, and we consistently have our kindergarten parents tell us how incredibly helpful KinderCamp was. Not only for their child, which it certainly is, but especially if they're sending their oldest, it's also extraordinarily helpful for them because it gives them a little bit of a dry run in sending their child to school for just those shorter periods of time before we kick off the school year. So I wanted to make sure our families knew that that's from the mouths of other parents of kindergarten students, that they would highly recommend it. And that's it. It wraps up our sneak peek at summer programming. Again, kudos to Colleen and her team for spearheading the design of all this and for moving into leading implementation. Any questions or comments?
Any questions from the board?
Mine's a comment. All of those classes sound amazing. I know my kids would have definitely wanted to join the how to build a zoo class. I just want to express my gratitude to all of the students, the older students and staff who show up and make all of that possible, because I know that's a huge undertaking for everybody. I'm sure many in this room are part of it. So just wonderful opportunities for kids in our district. I'm really grateful.
Other comments?
I have a question. So for the summer lunch program, and Hope, I don't know if you know the answer to this, so no pressure.
No problem.
I know that's a lifeline for a lot of families, but I'm curious, do we have a set of like volume that we expect in any given year, or how many meals, or? Here she comes. Amy's got
hand
the
it over to
answer.
There we go.
Sorry, excuse me, I don't have an exact count. What we have typically found though is it is really our kind of discovery days and learning ventures kids that eat. Within the community schools, there's usually a handful of families that show up each day, so thank you.
Amy, don't go too far. One more question. Is busing provided for the summer programs?
Yes.
It is. Okay. Thank you. Other questions or comments?
I'll just say, wow, and thank you. That's a lot.
Okay, others? Yeah, I'd second what Marilyn says. I'm just, every year I'm blown away by the number of programs and opportunities we offer students. And to know that we served 1,000 students last year, just, I mean, that's fantastic. That we have that amount of interest in the community. And what a great way to get the community involved too. So echoing what Amy said, kudos, thank you to those involved. Some of you are here in the room because it is a lot, it's a big effort, big undertaking, but we see the benefits of it when the students go through SLP and we see them advancing through the different grades. We see how these programs have helped them. So thank you.
Yeah.
So moving to effective operations, improve our effective management of human, financial, and physical resources. Monthly financial report for February 2025, Ms. Amy Schultz.
All right, before we dive into that, I'll just give the board a quick update. Westwood is going to be a lot busier than even what Hope indicated through all of our summer programming. In addition to having almost every classroom getting new furniture in the building, it's also getting solar panels on the roof, as well as some potential outside kind of facilities work as well. So it's going to be a very busy building this summer, so.
Any opportunity to build a program around that for the K through 12? For the solar
From a
panel
safety
installation?
standpoint, I don't know that we want a lot of kids on the roof, so.
Well, you know, I
But
thought I'd
there
throw that
is-
out there as an opportunity.
As a part of the solar program, though, there is an education component that will be taught in our schools along with that, so. All right, so with that, we will do our monthly financial report. And as mentioned, this is for February of 2025. Our first report is our cash basis, beginning and ending cash, as well as the cash receipts and disbursements for the month by fund. So as you can see, we're really seeing right around that 63 million for this month. On the receipt side, it's a little over 7 million of the 8 that's shown was state aids. Another few $100,000 in federal programs that relates to meals. And then in addition to that, a lot of what's remaining is really, February is a big month for our registrations for high school sports. So about another 66,000 for that, another 100,000 for interest. So that makes up a lot of the revenue that we saw throughout February. On the disbursement side, this is really just a typical month. No really large payments went out for anything that's not just a normal part of our operating budget. Our second report shows our receipts for the month of February as well as year-to-date, our budget for the current year, and then our year-to-date as a percentage of that budget, and then compared to the previous 2 years at the same time. So as you can see, when you look at the bottom line for the general fund, it's relatively close to where we've been the past few years. It's probably a little, it's kind of right in between the two. Really, it gets really hard compared these last few years with COVID and the timing of all the federal relief grants that came in to really do a super close year to year. At this point, we did expect it to come in pretty close for the general fund, just based on February's when we did our budget revisions last year. So now we've kind of caught up with revisions at this time. So that does make sense that we're right in line. And we've mentioned in the past between food service and community ed, those have been a little funky in the past couple of years, and the reason they were higher in those years was some of those federal grants that came in where they upfronted the money and then it was spent as we went. So with that, our debt funds are kind of right in line. On the expense side, this is that same report. Again, you can see that we're maybe a little bit behind in our spending in the general fund in total, and that was completely expected. So we've mentioned this at several of our meetings. We really look at that compensation piece, and then with that, we're kind of in line. All of those other categories are really up to departments and how they have allocated their resources, as well as what is spent year to date within those. And we knew that within our capital projects and our supplies, that those would be a little bit different right now, based on the $7 million we have coming up in just the furniture project alone. So those are things that, when we looked at our cash report earlier, and we show we have $48 million in cash, we already know that we're gonna have $8 million alone, in just summer payout checks coming up. We know that we have $7 million in furniture, another $1 million or $2 million in facilities projects. So as we watch that cash balance come back down over the summer, that is common, but that furniture project is really what's driving us looking like we're behind on expenses at this point in the year. And so that will catch up by the end of the school year. So that is a report for the month of February, if there are any questions.
Any questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Moving on to superintendent report. Jeff.
So there's a lot of cool things happening across the district that it would be fun to share with you. So here's it just pulled up. So first off, we have some elementary kids who got to dig into the National School Breakfast Week with an assortment of food options, kind of start their day off strong. So Park Terrace kindergartners kicked off with some barnyard artwork and Old McDonald singing skills. So each one of these pictures, I'll pause for a moment so you get a chance to check them out. Okay, Centerview fourth graders are producing Centerview News, short video each day, highlighting some fun, important topics at the school. So field trip season was the first thing they hit on, so they're doing a great job with that. It's kind of fun to see. Woodcrest kindergartners are traveling across different Spanish-speaking countries each week. Then our North Point third graders recently had a visit from a NASA Outer Space Ambassador. So, this was a pretty fun experience. Lighthouse students made a visit up to Wargo Nature Center and learn about all things maple syrup. So I got to make some maple syrup during the day. I'm not sure what he's doing with that tree. This is a lighthouse kid, so I'm sure there's a purpose. So students, and so we have some Westwood staff here tonight, so they're well aware of their focus on kindness this year. So there's a feature online that people can check out to learn more about what they're doing to build community. And we had some Westwood seventh graders who pitched. This was design some of our teachers did over there. They pitched the next great American food to potential investors. So there were parents and teachers who were the investors. It was an interdisciplinary unit that brought together math, science, social studies, and English. It brought that to life for these future entrepreneurs. So the winner is student engagement. So the kids were highly engaged through this, and it really went well. So I really appreciate the work that the staff did putting this together. Another group of Westwood Intermediate students had the opportunity to represent Spring Lake Park Schools at the State Honor Choir. And once again, some Westwood Middle School students who represented Spring Lake Park Schools at the University of Minnesota Duluth Honor Band Festival. So both choir and band. Engineering essential students tested balsa wood bridges they made to see how much force the bridges could withstand. Our math team had a great year this year. I left you a message about this a couple weeks ago, but they ended up with an 11th place team finish out of 160 teams statewide. So when you see your 11th, you have to put that in context. That's out of 160 teams. Most impressive, we had the individual all-around state champion in Sam Kretschmer. So that was pretty cool. So I wasn't at it this year, but last year I went, and it blows me away to watch these kids. Especially the one part, they put 10 students who scored the highest on the first in the morning test. They bring those 10 kids up, and then they just put up questions on the board, and they get it starts out, I think they get 2 minutes, and then it gets shorter and shorter. And you could give me all day and I couldn't answer any of those questions. And it's amazing to watch these kids. So it's fun. Our Athena Award winner, Brianna Finnegan. Congrats to her. April 18th, no school for students. Just a reminder on that. High school, Hello Dolly, will be April 25th through May 4th. Encourage people to get out there. They do an amazing job. Live on 65 welcomes Jim Witter. So encourage people to get there Wednesday, May 12th. And then I also just want to provide a brief update around what's happening in St. Paul with the legislature. So just a brief thing, which there's still not a lot happening, but what we did get to the point is we do have a governor budget target, a Senate budget target, and a House budget target, which is at least progress. The governor proposes $240 million in education cuts in the 26-27 biennium and $445 million in cuts in the 28-29 biennium. The Senate holds education funding flat in 26-27, but they cut funding by $687 million in the 28-29 biennium. The one that I like the best is the House target. They provide $40 million in directed funding towards the READ Act in the 26-27 biennium, and then holds funding flat in the 28-29 biennium. The one thing that's not built into that, they still do have, last session, they finally put in the inflationary increase in our what am I trying to say? Per pupil funding formula. So so we still have, that's built in. So we do have that. But so they are working on those targets. While the Senate and House do not have cuts in the upcoming biennium, the governor does, and further as a result of some of the decisions made in the last legislative session, including some unfunded mandates that we're having to manage now, as well as some unintended implications, or what I would say is implications that were maybe ignored in St. Paul, is we shared with them that these things will happen and will increase our costs. Many districts, including ours, are facing losses in revenue, which aren't reflected in those budget targets. So we are planning for a significant loss in compensatory revenue as a result of connected to the free lunch program. So obviously families don't have to fill out the free and reduced lunch forms, we have fewer kids. Now, we're not hit as hard because Amy Schultz and other staff did a great job of getting and continually encouraging families to fill out those forms, so that helped a lot, but it still is an impact. So as I shared in a recent message that went out to the community, I think it was just last week, neighboring districts and the majority of districts across the metro area are facing significant budget cuts and reductions in staff. Thankfully, we're not in that position. I have colleagues who just in the past couple of weeks are having very different conversations than we are tonight. with their school boards and community. So through enrollment growth and really some sound proactive planning, we've been able to avoid that, and we're able to maintain effective programming into the near future. However, our enrollment, has flattened out as we simply have fewer kids, young kids in the community. This is something that we're seeing across the state. So, and with uncertain funding in the future from St. Paul, we are really reaching a tipping point, as I shared with the community, where we need to keep a close eye on what is happening in St. Paul, and also be sure that the decisions we make today are really positioning us for the future. I'm looking at how we manage the resources we have and what additional resources we may need in the future. So, just, that really uplifting message that I get to share. I probably should have started with that and then shared the pictures of kids, but, I think it's just a brief update for what's happening in St. Paul. All right, now you get some nice updates from our students.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet. We will though. All right.
Yeah, after the action item, I guess.
Action items, yeah. So moving to action items, can I get a motion for Staff Appreciation Week?
So moved.
So moved by Villela, second by Hennan, to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the education of youth is essential to the future of our community, state, country, and world, and whereas educators fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors, and whereas the outstanding staff of Spring Lake Park Schools demonstrate their commitment daily and use their diverse talents to personalize learning and help each student develop and achieve their dreams in preparation for life beyond high school. And whereas educators continuously adapt to numerous external challenges while caring for each student and creating meaningful learning opportunities as they also manage the realities of their own lives. And whereas educators continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories. Therefore, be it resolved, the School Board of Spring Lake Park Schools extends its thanks and appreciation to all staff for making this a world-class learning community of choice, and hereby declares May 5th through the 9th of 2025 as Staff Appreciation Week in Spring Lake Park Schools. Any discussion? Yeah, this is,
Yeah, so thank you for our staff here.
absolutely, absolutely. This is one of my favorite, many favorite events to attend.
As my spouse would have said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, and if I didn't mention it, thank you.
Awesome. No other discussion? Clerk, could you please call roll?
Sure. Ms. McClellan.
Yes.
Mr. Balella.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Ms. Forsberg.
Yes.
Ms. Hennan.
Yes.
Ms. Skelly, yes. Mr. Easter.
An absolute yes.
Is that on 7-0 vote, resolution passed.
Thank you. Moving to acknowledgement of gifts. Can I get a motion? So moved by Schmidt, second by Forsberg, to approve the following resolution. Whereas School Board Policy 706 establishes guidelines for the acceptance of gifts to the district, and whereas Minnesota Statute 465.03 states that a school board may accept a gift of real or personal property by the adoption of a resolution approved by 2/3 of its members. Therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of Spring Lake Park Schools accepts with appreciation the gifts as shown. Any discussion? Yes, absolutely, always thank you.
And as I periodically want to remind anybody that may be watching and with staff here tonight, while we're very appreciative of these gifts, this never reflects all of the gifts that come to the district. But the fact is, the vast majority of those come indirectly to various booster organizations, PTOs, et cetera, rather than directly to the school district. So, Panther Foundation, others like that. So, people are wondering, man, that's not a ton on there. Well, there's a ton that comes, but indirectly to support programming.
Thank you. Clerk, would you please call roll?
Yes. Mr. Balella.
Yes.
Ms. Skelly, yes. Ms. Forsberg.
Yes.
Ms. McClellan.
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt.
Yes.
Ms. Hennan.
Yes.
And Mr. Easter.
Yes,
The resolution passes on a 7-0 vote.
thank you. Moving to board forum and reports. We'll start with our student representatives. How's it going?
My favorite part.
Yeah.
It's good. I'll just start with today. We had the ACT as juniors. There was some technical difficulties to start with, but it eventually all got figured out, and we were out of there before school would have ended. So worth it. As the superintendent mentioned, our math team hosted the state meet recently and did very, very well. And it's just such a good team. And I believe Sam is a junior, so he still has a whole nother year. And then also this past week, the new Panther mentors were announced, and we had our kind of intro meeting during set. And there was so much excitement about the program, and it's kind of getting a revamp, so it's really exciting to see that happening. And then for student council, our blood drive happened recently as well. And we had pretty good participation. Didn't quite get to the height that our previous blood drive did, but still a lot of blood given. And I think it was like 50 lives that we saved in the end through the blood donations, so.
Yeah, and the blood drive, it wasn't for a lack of trying. A lot of people did end up getting turned away as they were there due to either vitals, caffeine intake, or just their height to weight ratio. So we did have a lot of people try. It just didn't get to the point that we wanted it to be.
Definitely mine.
So spring sports have started. We have lacrosse, boys volleyball, track, softball, baseball, boys tennis all starting. I was actually just at a boys tennis match where we won 4-3 against St. Anthony. Boys volleyball won yesterday against Park Center. Yeah, and so did the boys tennis team. So we're starting off our spring sports on a good note. So you can be sure to know that all our parking lots are full from before school begins till way after, of students just wanting to get participation in sports and activities. As spring has started, AP test season is now in effect, and that will start beginning of May. I don't want to bring up the nervousness that comes with AP tests, but just the opportunities that are available to students through taking AP classes and being able to get those college credits for very cheap before even leaving high school, and you can start taking them from as soon as you start freshman year. For a student council update, we have started talking about our spring event, and I can't confirm any plans as of right now, but we have had a lot of ideas, from a simple movie night to a full-on carnival with carnival rides out in our parking lot. We're going to try to tamper it down a little bit from there, because I don't know if we have the funding or space or security for that, but you can be sure to know it's going to be a fun event. And as it is the third try, school is coming to an end. Graduation is coming for seniors, so it's getting to an exciting point, and SLP families and community members can check out what seniors are planning to do next year, whether it be college or taking a gap year or going straight into the workforce. We have an Instagram account for that, so you can just check and see what our seniors are going to get up to next year after they leave. And yeah, so much has happened in the past year, and so much has yet to happen in these next 2 months, so we're excited.
Awesome. Man, it's always busy.
I know.
I say this, and I don't say it lightly, but it's amazing. Every time I drive by the high school, there's always something going on.
Yep.
So that's just, again, sign of a strong community. They appreciate the facilities and things we offer. So yeah, that's great. All right, board update. Other board members?
I just have a quick one. I'm excited that there is girls flag football kicking off as a new club. And so part of the NFL's agenda to get like 50,000 girls engaged nationwide. And so apparently Minnesota is a little bit of a grassroots space. And so we are going to have a little flag football league this year. Yeah.
Cool.
And I would just add along with that, what's nice is that we did receive a grant, so the NFL is paying for all of the equipment that comes along with that, so, yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, flags, footballs, there's a number of things. So, wow, let's look at that.
I did great.
We keep it real. Sam?
I just want to say my daughter is a sophomore, and she's going to be a Panther mentor. And how excited she was about it. The culture, I mean, she's like so happy that she's a Panther mentor. So I just think that that's, I mean, just kudos to the culture building to make it that way.
Other updates? Thanks. How about this side?
I attended the Lighthouse meeting online this last month, end of the month, I guess, beginning of, I don't know where I'm at even. But anyway, it was really great. One thing that they stressed too is that parents can join at any time to that, and they're always looking for more parents within the Lighthouse school to join. So they're mentioning that, and then also that you can join online. So it isn't like you have to show up. You could join the meetings online. So if parents are listening, go ahead and join those meetings. The other thing is they just had a field trip to Topgolf on the 6th of April here, and they have one coming up to the Capitol on the 16th. So that's kind of some fun stuff coming up. And then also, I cannot remember if it's 2 or 4. I have it written down at home, I think, but they're offering 2 or 4 scholarships from Lighthouse for their students that are graduating that were either a past, they have to apply to it, but a past Lighthouse student coming up here as a senior here, and or graduating, you know, either one are graduating this year, current or past. So that's kind of cool. I think that they're sponsoring some scholarships from their fundraising that they've done as a school through their PTO. So very cool.
Great. Marilyn?
Well, I attended the Live on 65, and it was very well attended, and it was a very good show. Westwood PTO, besides routine business, one of the parents is involved with Art Adventures, which is sponsored by the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, and she gave a mini program, which was very interesting to see. She's going to the various schools, and really a neat program. And there was some discussion about new playground equipment. 916, lots of routine business, of course. At 916, anything above 50,000 must be approved by the board. And so we approved insurance policies, and just like my homeowners went up a whole lot, so has insurance for school districts, and I'm sure we pay out a lot on that. One of the policies approved was for cyber insurance. And the other interesting thing was the representative from Fridley told us that they are going to discontinue their in-house alternative learning and join Metro Heights. So that has been primarily Columbia Heights and Spring Lake Park, but now we will have a third entity in Fridley. So, thank you.
Good to know. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Marilyn. Any other things? I just have one update, but just to mention or tie on to the women's or girls flag football. I have 2 nieces that play professional football, women's football. One for Houston and one for Atlanta. So there is opportunities out there if women want to play professional football. Yeah, I've gone to a couple of their games. It's quite interesting. Yeah. So, real quick, a couple weeks ago, Melody and I attended the SOP Lions Scholarship Foundation. So everything is on track. Looks like we'll be offering 20+ scholarships this year. So always exciting. They're one of the larger scholarship donors. So we're excited that we'll be able to offer more scholarships this year. And it was also exciting to hear that all the scholarships from last year were accepted and used. So that's great. Yeah.
Also a reminder to watch the MSBA website and meetings as well as AMSD. There's going to be a break because the legislature is going on vacation after this Friday for 2 weeks. So it's still a good time to contact legislators, but there's not going to be action at the Capitol.
All right, any other updates? All right, let's move to adjournment. Can I get a motion? Wow. So moved by Skelly, second by Schmidt to adjourn the meeting at 7:55. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.